The JuRY Daily Show, brought to you, as always, by PayJuRyDaily.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Monday, July 30th, 2018 edition of the JuRY Daily Show. My name is Justin Robert Young. I'm the JuRY in JuRY Daily. Restart, refresh. Okay, here we go. If you are new to this show, there is something that you might not know, that longtime listeners to this program, before we had cut this up daily, before we were really putting effort into youtube.com/Justin Robert Young, where you can watch this show. You can comment down below. Before all that, you know, there's a thing. There's an element of me. There's something that wells deep inside of me that every once in a while, with but a pinprick, I will gush forth with hot molten magma, scalding anybody who gets in my way. There is something that grinds my gears to the point where the mere mention of its name is something that just I become insane with rage, blinded by my own anger. What is that, you might ask? Well, it's mayonnaise. I don't like it. Called it many names over the years. The devil's jizz, probably the most popular. People will often, I find brethren amongst you, me and you listening, you watching, can find fellowship with me if you also feel that this is a disgusting substance. And by the way, a substance for which people are way too cavalier with. There have been many times that I have gone to a restaurant and all of a sudden, despite the fact not listed on the Mayo or on the menu, see, I'm already fucking triggered. Not listed on the menu is mayonnaise, and I get the sandwich. What's on it? Fucking mayonnaise. White death staring me in the face. Oh, wipe it off. No. Not with this insidious substance that seeps into every possible crack of a hoagie. No. You think that I've tried to be the better man. I've tried to be the good customer that doesn't bother the people behind the counter. I've wiped it off as much as I can. Next thing you know, I'm trying to bite into a delicious Black Forest ham sandwich, and what do I get? A big old pulsating rivulet of mayonnaise. Hiding from me. This has happened more and more. People are really into mayonnaise these days. I don't like it. Never liked it. Never will. So imagine my fury. Imagine my disgust. Imagine my revulsion when I see this news story. Mayonnaise ice cream now exists, and it's tearing the internet apart. This is an insider article. In this day and age, nothing is more off the table for ice cream flavors. Gone are simpler days of chocolate and vanilla, but because it's 2018 and innovators are experimenting with flavors based on pizza and New Jersey's beloved Taylor ham pork roll, both of which are apparently pretty good, One creamery in the UK may have taken things too far with its latest Frankenfection, mayonnaise ice cream. And they get into this disgusting fucking trend that is really, I'll tell you what, a lot of people like, oh, it's a gateway drug. Oh, I don't want my kids to smoke weed because it's a gateway drug. Sidebar. I was talking about this on the politics thing the other day, or earlier today. When we have an opioid epidemic, doesn't the argument for weed being a gateway drug kind of lose steam a little bit? Because back in the day, it used to be, you smoke weed now, gateway drug, eventually you'll be doing heroin. But now people just skip to heroin. People just do heroin. They just do opioids. It's heroin in pill form. So it's like what do you mean? You might as well go to the gateway, or else you're just going to, skip go, don't collect $200, go directly to heroin. Back to mayonnaise. This is a new thing. People want to put mayonnaise on all sorts of crazy shit. Apparently, it's the secret for perfectly grilled food. Fuck you. Find me some fucking grillers out there in barbecue country out in Texas that's gonna be like, oh, well, my family's secret was to smear mayonnaise on that shit. Fuck that. Not happening. It tastes delicious on fries. This ain't Holland, motherfucker. And it can be used to moisten up cakes, according to this Insider article. Well, in my opinion, like Junkyard Dog said, I will grab them cakes and throw them right into the trash can, because that's where they fucking belong. But here's the picture for everybody who is either watching on twitch.tv/JustinRYoungLive or on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please give me your immediate reaction, your one-word reaction to looking at this mayonnaise ice cream right now. And if you're listening on podcast, then just Google Mayo ice cream. You'll find it. And here's the fucked up thing about it. Here's the fucked up thing about this photo, is that it just looks like delicious ice cream. So much so that I don't even know if it is actually Hellmann's mayonnaise ice cream. The only way I know it is because they've stuck an empty Hellmann's mayonnaise bottle in front of it. It could just be perfectly deliciously cascading ice cream. It's one of those brain fucks, right? It's one of those things where you're just not prepared for it. Because I look at that and my brain is telling me, the pattern recognizing element of my brain is telling me, this is delicious. You need to eat it. You need to just jump, just not even take a spoon to it. Just go, just all over, smearing all over my face, just dripping lines of ice cream all over my face, neck, and chest. That's what my brain is initially telling me. And then the pattern recognizer goes over to the Hellmann's thing, and it's like, whoa, no, stop, emergency. I'm pulling the emergency brake line on the train. Why do people want to do this? Because I've seen a lot of people, before we went live, people in the chat were like, oh, this is just to make people mad. Well, somebody took a lot of time out of their day to make people mad, man. People really, really got fired up about that. Like, I just got too mad. Right there. That's where I boiled over. I was keeping it cool. I was keeping it calm. I was a race car in the red, but I wasn't burning out until I just did that. It just happened right now. Somebody clip that. You want to know what? Here's the thing that does make me mad, and Volkai points it out. Is that it's not that this shit got made. A lot of shit gets made. It's not that this shit is available in some Scottish fucking creamery. Which, by the way, to Ice Falkirk, it's the Ice Creamery in Scotland, in Falkirk, Scotland. I issue you a hearty GFF. You're not my BFF. You're my GFF. BFF, of course, best friends forever. GFF, get fucked forever. Whenever you think that you should not be catching a fuck for making this monstrosity, for unleashing this unholy alliance of mayonnaise and ice cream upon the world, think again. Ask, is forever over? And if the answer is no, then continue getting these fucks. GFF to you, Ice Falkirk. Here's the reason it just gets my goat, man, is because there's a lot of these Mayo stands out here. A lot. A lot of these Mayo stands. And you want to know what? I think they're these same motherfuckers that kiss their dog. Mayo stands. S-T-A-N-S. Like they'd be writing letters. Dear Mayo, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. Mayo stands. I think Lena Dunham loves Mayo. I think everybody that kisses their dog is fucking super excited for mayonnaise ice cream. Super pumped. They're like, yes! They're doing the Marv Albert yes, and they're doing the Tiger Woods fist pump. As soon as they saw this. And then they faxed a note to their friends about how much they're looking forward to their trip to Falkirk, Scotland. Am I talking to anybody that lives near Falkirk? Am I talking to anybody that lives near Falkirk right now? I want to do something. If there is anybody that is hearing my voice that lives near Falkirk, Scotland, I will pay you money to walk into that creamery, get a cup of Mayo ice cream, and then throw it in the trash. If you go to this creamery and you film it and you buy a cup of it and immediately say thank you and then throw it right in the trash, you have to film all of it. I will pay for that fucking ice cream. Because somebody's got to send a message. Somebody's got to send a message, and it's me. That's who. It's me and whoever you are right now in or around Falkirk, Scotland. This has to happen. Please hit me up. Email me, jurydaily@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram @JustinRYoung. I know we got some Scottish motherfuckers in here. I know we do. I know. I hear the Scots. Get fucked Falkirk. There we go. It's not even get fucked forever. It's get fucked Falkirk. We're going to see whether or not we can make this happen by the end of the week. I feel like we can. I feel like this is something that we need to do. It needs to happen. This show needs it. Nay, the world needs it. Let's go ahead and get into your emails. JuRyDaily@gmail.com or leave a comment on the YouTube. Penny writes, so on the subject of James Gunn and Dan Harmon, I feel very conflicted. First off, they are representative of their brand, and therefore their brands are reflections of them. That's understandable that Disney and Cartoon Network did what they did. On the flip side of this, as a Christian, I feel like the far right is being extremely hypocritical. As Christians, it's not our job to judge others. It's also not our job to hold grudges. I feel like a lot of people are picking up stones and throwing them at glass houses. I appreciate that, Penny. I actually think that you're right. I mean, I'm not a Christian myself, but I read enough of the Old Testament to know that, like, if we have an all-abiding faith in God, that motherfucker holds grudges. Like, he's got enough grudge capacity to fucking, like, he's got a big enough tank. He doesn't need you doing any grudge holding by himself. That motherfucker flooded the world because he was pissed off. That's a grudge. I will correct you, though, Penny, and I will not correct you, but rather offer this counterfactual. I don't think that it's a lot of social conservatives that are pushing this stuff, or at least starting it. It might then branch out to social conservatives. But if we are to understand that this kind of stuff starts on 4chan and then spreads through Twitter and spreads through Reddit, having paid a fair attention to, you know, the new communities that are emerging around conservative thought online, you're seeing a lot of atheists. A lot of people that, like, this is not about them being actually morally outraged. It's them understanding what moral outrage is and throwing red meat in the hope that they can catch these scalps. So for once, I don't think that this is necessarily about evangelicals. I don't think it's about conservatives, about Christians. I think it's a fairly a-religious issue, to be honest, or at least in its dredging. Now, once it starts echoing out into the larger world, then anybody who's anybody is going to find a thing and then build on it. But I don't know how many devoted Christians are on /Paul or /TV. BM writes, first off, congrats on going daily. I'm really enjoying the new and improved format, entertaining and digestible. Anyway, I wanted to say that I think Brian nailed it with the double jeopardy analogy as to the difference between driving James Gunn and Dan Harmon off their platforms based upon old tweets and those on the Parkland kids side writing to advertisers to negatively impact Laura Ingraham, Breitbart, and Hannity. Gunn and Harmon already atoned, acknowledge, evolved since making those comments. So Mike Pizzagate Cernovich, of all people, rehashing it to pwn the libs, was purely a troll. Someone who was offended by them and not sincere and not insincere in the slightest. The same guy who also made weird claims about rape and never really atoned for it in the same way as the former. The calls for advertisers to drop mostly right-wing shows and outfits are done as real-time reaction to something that they have said, done, broadcast. That's just good old capitalism, baby. People calling up and letting their free market know what's up. But somehow that free market stalwarts, on the right usually, will selectively move the goalposts when that happens and pretend it's not a valid tactic. I'm not anti both sides when I think it's appropriate, but this is definitely not a both sides issue. I'd quibble. I would quibble. I would reach into my quiver and pull out a quibble that a lot of the Breitbart stuff that I saw was deliberately pushed out of context. You saw a lot of very provocative headlines from Milo, I can't pronounce his last name, that, you know, there was one like the Dangerous F slur tour or whatever. And if you don't know that he's an openly gay guy, that's part of his persona and it's part of his argument, and you're reading that cold, I think it is designed to give people a worse idea of how things actually were, in the same way that I thought it was intentionally manipulative to blur out the links when the James Gunn tweets were going around, that like one of his tweets was a video of 1,000 boys and girls touching themselves. And it was a boys and girls choir singing the Devaniels, I Touch Myself. But if you blur out the link, you might think he's sharing fucking kiddie porn, right? So we can, if we want to really have a discussion about how this stuff is happening, we can. And I'm not saying that it's against anybody's right to do it. But I am saying it's gross, and I find it gross when people who are, when you're doing the good old capitalism argument, then the idea to me is I'm a devout viewer of blank. Host did something I don't like. I am now going to not watch, and therefore it is going to hurt your brand. Now, that has evolved over the years. Now that brands are more socially conscious, that they are curious about what people are yelling about. But if you're not a regular consumer of this, I do think on some level it is disingenuous to brigade. But that's just me. All right. Real quick, although we're running out of time. Hi, it's Kyle. Why would movie studios block their movies from being talked about even if they are bad? Personally, I would have gone to see The Dark Tower in theaters because I love the books, but they blocked all reviews, and so it wasn't worth it. Do you think it's still in the studio's best interest to play down their movies? Personally, I would say let people review bad movies because on the internet, no one believes what anyone else says except for you, JuRY. What do you think? To a certain extent, I think this has already kind of happened where instead of trying to court critics, you see like movies that just have Twitter stuff from like pre-screenings where it's like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. Because if you go to see a movie early that none of your friends have seen, you always want to kind of talk it up. So I think we're kind of seeing that already, but also we're in an awkward, mushy middle where we're still trying to figure out who's a critic and who's not. Do we care about a Dick Mahoney's movie Emporium blog? I don't know. More so than we used to, but less so than we probably should. And Kevin writes, it's finally time. Thanks to your daily show. I must support your efforts on Patreon and stop freeloading. I don't want this shit to stop. Voting with my dollar for $1 a month. But the Patreon site isn't working on mobile, so I'll do it tomorrow. Promise. Well, Kevin, if you don't email me today and said that you did it yesterday because you sent it 2 days ago, then I'm going to end the show with, Kevin, you're a liar. An amazing chat line that came in here apropos of nothing. Etizzle Smash. I hate that I live in a world where I can't get the number 69 tattooed on my face without it being an homage to some dumbass rapper. If you get that, you laugh.
I don't understand, is it me?
Folks, that about wraps it up. I'll see you tomorrow. Until next time. Hoi. No. No.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.